let's go ahead and get back into ourselves. Nice deep breath. And I would like us to focus on really some fundamental truths about ourselves which we may have overlooked or taken for granted. And this is the part of us which is right at the center of our physical being, which is the structure. And I'm talking about the skeleton of us, the bones, the most dense part of our physical self. And while I'm talking about the most dense part of our physical self, let us not forget this is the structure upon which everything else is built. So let's start with bringing our attention to the skull, top of the head. Starting at the top of the head, the upper part, the back. And as we breathe in, we are going to imagine pure light, bright light, filling up the spaces between the molecules of our head space, especially the one that is the bone. And knowing what we know, that solid as it may seem, this part of our body actually houses a huge amount of space between the molecules. There is space. And it's not just space. This space is not empty. This space is filled with information, with vibrations, with frequencies. And the strength and the weakness of the bone is determined by these frequencies that are housed in these spaces. And as we move into the face, the bones within the face, which is not perceived except for the outer features, each one of us has a structure which is a little bit different, a lot different from some people, and with others just a little bit maybe. And yet, as unique human beings, we come with a structure that is only ours. And beyond what we are hiding behind the skin, behind the other tissues and organs, is this upright, strong framework. Which is one of the most ignored perhaps in our years, until such time that the frequencies and the vibrations may get so dense or unfriendly that even the bones have a hard time dealing with it. And it is only then that we are made aware. So as we travel down our skeletal system from the throat, down the various connection of the spine, the ribs, just pause for a moment and fill the bones in those ribs like neon lights, bright and shiny. And think of what the service that we are receiving from this very, very first structure that we were given, as it houses these organs. Let's feel that for a moment, besides the thought. Just feel that chest expanding with every breath. Feel that chest flexing as we breathe in and out. Within the strength and the sturdiness of the bone structure, there is an amazing amount of give to accommodate our movements, our suppleness. Going all the way down to the lower parts of our spinal column, coming to the pelvic area, the pelvic bones, connecting. Especially take a moment to bring the light into the shoulders. Such a marvel of creation. Those little joints and sockets and the fluids that they hold to keep moving and keeping us so flexible. Our ability to extend and contract and lift. And for a moment, think of all the organs that are attached, the ligaments, the muscles, the tissues that derive their strength from the strength of the bones of our skeletal system. We're going to fill both our arms, our forearms and hands, all the way to the fingertips with bright light. And as we do, we will bring to our mind great gratitude. This part of us, for the most part, is with us, growing through the growing years and continuing to hold us up strong, providing the strength through the information that is going in our DNA within these bones to allow for the body to grow and do what it needs to do while holding that position, holding that framework. The gift of this creation. And as we sit on our sit bones, just think of those sit bones. How much weight do they carry? The flexibility, the amazing resilience. And all the time supporting everything else as if that is the primary purpose. It is indeed the primary purpose. And passing on the correct information onto these attachments exactly when it needs to be without our mind having to get involved, without our awareness having to get involved. This is what the bones do. So we're going to pause in the upper parts of our legs, the thigh bones, and allow those bones to feel this attention, this love, this awareness, this understanding. That whatever has been going on unconsciously can be shifted with conscious awareness and intention. And that is the intention that transforms into this light of knowledge, awareness, and well being that we invite in and make space, make room for as we gently move our attention from point to point, slowly and patiently. And now moving to the knees. It is not easy to find another location in the structural system which has to be as flexible as the knees do. And being able not only to carry the weight, to move the structure from place to place, sometimes gently, sometimes fast. The range of motion. And just stop there for a moment and let us breathe into these wonderful, strong knees. And as we go about our day and do our physical routine of exercises, working these limbs, asking the skeletal patterns to move and push and pull and turn as we are exercising our various muscles and our breathing patterns. We almost forget that deep inside is this part of us that is holding the structure aloft and together and allowing all these movements to take place. So today's meditation is focusing with deep gratitude. Anything that we have within or outside of our bodies in our auric field responds to loving attention. Everything responds to loving attention. In our unawareness, we often forget the loving part, especially when something is not working. When a joint becomes sore or aches and calls for attention, it's asking for that loving attention, which brings to it the positive forces, the frequencies, the energy, the vibrations that will set right those parts that have gone out of kilter. And just a short meditation, acknowledging, focusing that part of the body with love and full faith that you know exactly how to heal yourself because it is in the DNA, which runs through every part of us. That information is accessible from the top of our head to the end of our toes and fingernails. And all we have to do is bring it into focus and let that bright healing light move through. And as long as we hold ourselves in this space of deep, deep appreciation and gratitude for all the functions these parts of us always are offering us, we can actually feel the glow, the warmth flowing through from the knees to the ankles and ankles to the feet. And we can visualize ourselves standing up like a strong, tall tree, spreading our hands out as they were supposed to do, and our legs carrying us in big, long strides. No falter, evenly, step after step. We know how that feels. We have been there. We have asked for much from this body, and we have received much. And sometimes it helps us to really acknowledge with full awareness full acknowledgement, full love, light, and wisdom that is already seeded in our DNA. Thank you, thank you, thank you.